Percents, decimals, and fractions. The target for this lesson is, I can write fractions and decimals as percents. Let's start with vocabulary. A decimal fraction is a fraction where the denominator is a power of 10, such as 10, 100, 1000, etc. The decimal 0.3 has the digit 3 in the tenths place. Therefore, it can be written as the fraction 3/10. The decimal 0.79 has the last digit in the hundredths place, so it can be written as the fraction 79/100ths. The decimal 0.108 has its last digit in the thousandths place. It can be written as the fraction 108 thousandths. Example 1. We'll do this problem together. Write each decimal number as a decimal fraction. A. 0.27. The number 0.27 can be read aloud as 27 hundredths because the last digit 7 is in the hundredths place. Therefore, this decimal can be written as the fraction 27/100. B. 0.8. The number 0.8 can be read aloud as 8/10 because the last digit 8 is in the tenths place. So this decimal can be written as 8/10. C. 1.409. The number 1.409 can be read aloud as 1 and 409 thousandths. Therefore, we can drop the decimal and write this number as 1,409/1000. Extra example 1. You'll try this problem by yourself. Write each decimal number as a decimal fraction. A. 0.4. B. 1.35. Pause the video and try this problem on your own. When finished, unpause the video to see if you were able to successfully solve the problem. The answer to problem A is 4/10. The answer to problem B is 135/100ths. Example 2. We'll do this problem together. Write each decimal fraction as a percent. For these problems, we will use the equivalent fractions method. Problem A, 27/100ths. Since the fraction 27 hundredths is already a fraction out of 100, we can easily write it as 27%. Problem B, 8/10. We must convert this fraction so it is out of 100. 10 times 10 is 100. Repeat this multiplication on the top. 8 times 10 is 80. The fraction 80/100ths is the same as 80%. C. 1,409 out of 1,000. In order to create a percent, we need a fraction out of 100. 1,000 divided by 10 is 100. Repeat this division on the top. 1,409 divided by 10 is 140.9. Therefore, this fraction is equal to 140.9%. Extra example 2. You'll try this problem by yourself. Write each decimal fraction as a percent. Problem A, 4/10. Problem B, 135/100ths. Hit pause and attempt this example. Check your answer by resuming the video to see if you got the correct answer. The answer to problem A is 40%. The answer to problem B is 135%. Example 3. We'll do this problem together. Fran swings at 3 out of every 5 balls that comes out of the pitching machine. What percent of the balls does she swing at? For this problem, we will create a ratio table that can be used to create a fraction with a denominator of 100. On the top, write the number of swings, and on the bottom, write balls pitched. Record the ratio given in the problem, 3/5. Create equivalent ratios using multiplication. 3 times 2 is 6, and 5 times 2 is 10. Continue the table as necessary. 3 times 3 is 9, and 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12, and 5 times 4 is 20. You can use math facts in order to create a fraction with a denominator of 100. For example, 10 times 10 is 100, so we can repeat this multiplication on the top. 6 times 10 is 60. Therefore, the ratio of 3 to 5 is the same as the ratio 60 to 100. The ratio 60 to 100 is equal to 60%, so Fran swings at 60% of the balls that come out of the pitching machine. Extra example 3. You'll try this problem by yourself. Doug eats 13 out of every 20 crackers his mom buys for the family. What percent of the crackers does he eat? This would be a good time to pause the video. Complete the problem by yourself, then check your answer by resuming the video. The answer to this problem is, Doug eats 65% of the crackers. Example 4. We'll do this problem together. Write 5/8 as a decimal and as a percent. In the previous examples, the denominators were a factor or multiple of 100. However, I noticed that the denominator in this problem is 8, which is not a factor of 100. In this case, we can use long division to find the decimal equivalent. We can think of the fraction 5/8 as the division problem 5 divided by 8. Place the divisor 8 on the outside and place the dividend 5 on the inside. Since we know that 5/8 is less than 1 whole, let's go ahead and put a 0.0 after the 5. 8 does not go into 5, so place a 0 above the 5 and bring the decimal point up into the quotient as well. 8 goes into 50 6 times, and 6 times 8 is 48. 50 minus 48 is 2. Since we have a remainder, add another 0 onto the end of our dividend and bring it down. 8 goes into 20 2 times, and 2 times 8 is 16. 20 minus 16 is 4. Add another 0 as a placeholder and bring it down. 8 goes into 40 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40, and 40 minus 40 is 0. So, 5/8 written as a decimal is 0.625. The problem also asks us to write 5/8 as a percent. To convert a decimal to a percent, multiply the decimal value by 100. 0.625 times 100 equals 62.5. So 5/8 is equal to 62.5%. Extra example 4. You'll try this problem by yourself. Write 1 and 1/8 as a decimal and as a percent. Pause the video and try this problem on your own. When finished, unpause the video to see if you were able to successfully solve the problem. The answer to this problem is 1 and 1/8 as a decimal is 1.125. As a percent, it is equal to 112.5%. Example 5. We'll do this problem together. List the values from smallest to largest, 1/5, 17%, and 0.22. Since all of these values are in different forms, let's convert the fraction and percent to their decimal equivalents. 1/5 is equal to 2/10, or 0.2. To convert 17% to a decimal, divide 17 by 100. 17 divided by 100 is 0.17. Now that each value is represented as a decimal, we can compare the sizes of each value. The decimals in order from least to greatest are 0.17, 0.2, and 0.22, but we need to list the values from least to greatest in their original forms. The values in order are 17%, 1/5, and 0.22. Extra example 5. You'll try this problem by yourself. List the values from smallest to largest: 0.3, 1/25th, and 21%. Hit pause and attempt this example. Check your answer by resuming the video to see if you got the correct answer. The answer to this problem is 1/25th, 21%, and 0.3. Consider this. Explain how you would write 3/20ths as a percent. What do you think?